If he is saying, I am the true vine, what he's also saying is that he's the true vine. There are other vines that are false. That are other vines that choke the word. There are cares of this life that produce spiritual suffocation. In the parable of the sower, Jesus is speaking of the word and the gospel, and as the seeds are being sown, some fell around the thorny grounds, and the vines began to choke up the operation of the word. What Jesus is telling us here is that he is the true vine. What is a vine? A vine is a type of plant that grows in the ground, and it has many branches, and it produces fruit. Specifically, a vineyard, the fruit of the vine is where you get wine from, grapes. And it's this type of terminology that he's giving us. He's the true vine. He is the wine from heaven. He is the new wine. He is the vine. He is the ultimate source of joy, satisfaction, and life. Wine is symbolic in the New Testament as well as the Old as joy, as the work of the Spirit. And he says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. And he says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away, that it may bear more fruit. Let's start over. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. What does that mean? His Father is the vine dresser, the farmer, the one who tends to the vineyard. And he's saying, every branch in me. I notice that I highlighted that right there. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. Now, this is a very interesting word here, because this word take away, some translations have a different word, and I'll show you the word. It is the word aerai. It's where we get the word aerodynamic. It's where we get aeronautics. It means to be lifted up. It can mean to take away. It can mean to take up. Look at the definition here. It can also mean to pick up. It can also mean to raise up, to lift. It can mean to remove or take away. But here's something that I want to pose to you. If you are in the Lord, there is this passage very well can mean the opposite. It says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he removes or takes away. But this word arrow can mean to lift up. Another way of saying this, according to what I just showed you, this definition, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he lifts up. If you do a study on vineyards back in the days, what they would do is, if a branch didn't produce fruit, the vine dresser would take the vine and often raise it against something higher. And you can find studies on this. You can Google that if you want. But a vine dresser would take the rock or a high place and try to lift up that branch that's low and lift it up so that it bears the fruit in its proper altitude. So there is a possible rendering of this to say that every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he lifts up. Why? So that it bears fruit. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes. And this word prunes can mean to cleanse. The reason why I would say, if I had to choose, like, okay, is he speaking of the word taking away, or is he speaking of lifting up? Again, for those that may have not noticed, let me show you. I am only showing you what the scripture is saying. Look what he says. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. Let's look at this word takes. It's the Greek word arrow. It can mean to take. I'm showing you right here. It can mean to take away, to take up. Look at what it says here. This is the definition. To raise, lift up. It can mean to take away or remove. According to this passage, I side more with Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he lifts up. Jesus told us very clearly in the scriptures that whoever comes to him will by no means be cast out. So is Jesus speaking out of both sides of his mouth, or are we interpreting this a different way? Whoever comes to him will be saved. Look at the verse here. Every branch in me. How can he remove you like that if you're in him? And if you read John 17, and if you read many of the things that Jesus spoke, he says the only reason why you've come to believe in me is because the Father has drawn you. And whoever comes to me will by no means be cast out. And so, very strong possibility, I side more with the verse 2 doesn't say take away. According to this word, just as I showed you the Strong's Concordance, I showed you what the original wording is. It is to be lifted. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he lifts up. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes. Now, what does the word prune mean? Again, many people think it means to cut away. Again, let's look at it. This word is to cleanse. It doesn't mean what you think it means. When we think of the word prune, we think of the word cutting away. He's not cutting away. The pruning is in the cleansing. You see? Purify, I cleanse, I purify. This is what this word means. And this is why Jesus is telling us, you are already clean.